So good afternoon, welcome. I'm here for another live chat with Wendy Arnold. Wendy, it's lovely to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
It's lovely to be invited. Thank you.
So Wendy, you're speaking at the conference about using Telegram as an app for training and learning. First of all, for anybody who doesn't know, can you tell us a bit about Telegram?
Okay, well, Telegram is an app very similar to WhatsApp. I was actually introduced to it when I was working in Uzbekistan. It was developed by two Russian developers who don't live in Russia anymore. They live in Dubai. And what makes it different to WhatsApp is that it uses less mobile data. It's cloud-based as well, so it doesn't fill your mobile up, your memory up, because everything goes into the cloud. And I was particularly interested when I saw it used in Uzbekistan. It was being used at a language school for students doing IELTS. And the owner had got somebody to design bots. I had never heard of what a bot was before.
A chat bot.
Well, yeah, so it was a bot, yes. And so he'd put lots of questions and then answers, and this bot actually took the students through a series of training things. And I thought, oh, that's very clever. How did they manage to do that? Now, I was going to use that on a project in South Sudan, but it didn't quite work out. But I did use it for the very first time in Tunisia. So I had face-to-face training in Tunisia for phase 1, and then phase 2, there was a break, and I said to the English Connects project managers, I'm really unhappy about having this long break in the middle. I think that the teachers need to, because it was I think we had 3 days before Christmas and then 2 days after, with something like 6 weeks break, and I said that's way too long. So could we do some support in between? And we tested Facebook, WhatsApp, and Telegram. So I used that for the first time properly there, and that seemed to go quite well. But I've used it more recently on a very big project in Venezuela.
Well, This is what I was going to ask you about. I mean, Telegram in itself is interesting. It's something that's come on my radar relatively recently, but I still haven't gravitated fully towards it. So I'm very interested to know, how did you use it?
So how we're using it at the moment is we're training secondary teachers, 400 secondary teachers in Venezuela, and they live in remote places. I mean, they have issues with electricity, blackouts, the rain falls too heavily and there's another blackout. But what's fantastic about Telegram is that you can use it with Wi-Fi, but you can use mobile data as well. And because it uses 30 to 40% less than the other apps, obviously for teachers, if they're having to pay out of their own pocket, that makes a big difference.
It does, absolutely. Yeah. And does it also kind of like protect your data? Do you see each other's phone numbers, or is it?
No, you can hide all of that.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yes, you can hide all of that. So it's really good. You can also, the thing that I love is you could put any size of file, any file, and it goes. It just disappears in, which, you can't even do that with emails. You can't do it with WhatsApp either. There's a limit to how big you can send, files through.
Size, yeah.
But there are issues with the person receiving it. So what we have to do in Venezuela is we use PowerPoints, because it's an we use a flipped learning approach. So we have asynchronous and then synchronous, 60 minutes of each. And we use PowerPoints for the content, for the flipped content. But we have to send through the PowerPoint, a PDF of the PowerPoint, and screenshots of all the slides.
That's huge.
It is
large
huge.
Amounts of data, yes.
And also, because sometimes the teachers can't hear. They can see, they can't hear. Some can hear, but they can't see. So we have to use a combination of different ways of getting the information to them. You can also record, so then the teachers can download when they've got access to their data again.
So the asynchronous sessions are through Telegram?
Yeah.
So that's incredible. You're using it as a virtual learning environment, basically.
Totally. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So everything, the synchronous sessions are Telegram as well?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And you can have up to 300 people, I think it's 300 people if you wanted to, you wouldn't want to, using video. But it's countless without video, if it's just your voice. I mean, however many you wanted. So it's amazing. So I don't think governments like it very much. Yes, because they can't control it at all.
Wow. I mean, it sounds like an incredibly powerful tool.
Oh, it is a very powerful tool. The only thing that hasn't got yet, but we're trying to work our way around it, it hasn't got breakout rooms.
Right.
But to be honest, breakout rooms, there's skills to using breakout rooms. And it takes, so when we train teachers in Venezuela, the primary teachers, we use Zoom. And it was a bit hit and miss because so many just kept falling off because of, it takes a lot of data to use Zoom. Breakout rooms, they weren't really trained to use them. I mean, you could spend 6 sessions just training people on how to use a breakout room, and the trainers as well. It's a skill to use breakout rooms. But what we're going to do with the Venezuelan lot, and we're trialing it now, is have separate, so break a group of 30 teachers up into 5 groups, 5 or 6 groups, and have a separate Telegram group for that. So you just give them the link for that, or you can give them the QR code.
And they join that way?
They can join that way and then come back. So use it in the same way that you would use like a Zoom breakout room.
And can you use Telegram on other devices, or is it just a phone?
No, mobile, laptop, tablets, desktop. Yeah.
Wow.
And they synchronize as well. So that's really useful.
And so you don't even have to download it. You can just click on a link and you're in.
Yes.
That's brilliant.
Yes.
Wow.
It's lovely.
And so, and you're delivering teacher education in terms of like methodology and...
Yes. So there are eventually going to be 12 modules. One of them is a teacher educator one. So we started off with the very first module last September. And that was approaches and methods in ELT. And so these are secondary teachers, and it's part of their, like a PGCE in Venezuela, and it's counted towards their credited for their degree. So that was approaches and methods. We were very gentle with it because we wanted it no stress, and we didn't want them to disappear, basically. And then the second module, which we'd just finished, was on teaching teenagers. Which is really important. So, the psychology of teaching teenagers and how really they're very different from young learners that are going through puberty and all kinds of stuff like that. And we've just started now the third one about managing classes. So all the practical stuff is now coming up. So they're pretty confident in their groups, and we want to see more evidence-based feedback from them. So they take little recordings of their classrooms and little, video clips and audios of their students. And so we can really see what they're doing.
Yeah, and this is fantastic because it allows you into the classroom even though you're not physically there.
Yes.
And in a way, it's kind of modelling what they can do with their students using the technology.
Yes.
This is fantastic.
Yes.
So where do you see the future of this? Do you think that we'll end up completely remotely using?
No. And I have got critics about me even saying, using Telegram for teacher training. No, it's not a replacement. It's an alternative. And, ideally it would be a blend. You'd use a blend of face-to-face and remote. So it'd be like a sort of hybrid. And should we ever, I hope it never happens again, but, the closure of schools all over the world, then this is ideal. It is an alternative and it's viable. It's tried and tested. And children do have access at least to a mobile phone, usually in their parents' homes. So
yeah, absolutely. And as someone who's kind of running the courses, you don't have to pay for Telegram, do you? So in terms of using it as a virtual learning environment, it's very easy to manage and it's free.
Absolutely,
This
yes.
is perfect.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Wendy, thank you so much. It's been really interesting talking to you.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you
Enjoy
for
the
asking.
conference.
Thank you.